Nightline.com, more than 100 black religious leaders and scholars expressed their disapproval, saying they were concerned today's meeting would give Trump the appearance of legitimacy among those who follow their leadership. But after today's meeting,
I saw love in that room. I see love everywhere I go.
He's best for not only the country, but certainly the black community.
Trump was able to convince some of those pastors to have faith in his campaign.
We voiced concerns that were sensitive to the African-American community, and we asked questions, and the questions were answered where we're all satisfied with the answers.
Are you endorsing him?
I support Donald Trump.
What do you say to some of the black pastors? Like one said the people who are coming here were prostitutes and treating the pulpit as a pole.
Ashamed of himself. That's despicable. That's reprehensible. That's disgusting that a man that considers himself to be a member of the clergy would say about his colleagues.
Trump says the pastors that are choosing to endorse him are not doing so for monetary gains.
Endorsement commitment to give a financial contribution to any of these.
No, I haven't. No, zero.
But others aren't sold.
We're deeply disturbed by his rhetoric. We're deeply disturbed by the lack of empathy that he seems to show.
Trump's controversy with pastors isn't the only issue he's facing today. The brash billionaire is refusing to back down from recent comments he made about Muslims in New Jersey.
As that building was coming down, thousands of people were cheering.
Trump references seen television reports of the celebration, something that has been widely refuted.
He insists he saw that video in New Jersey. No one can find it, and people say it's because it doesn't exist. Why doesn't Donald Trump admit that this never happened?
I think he believes that the admission of a mistake and saying you're sorry is a sign of weakness. And I think he will never say he's sorry.
New Jersey Governor Chris Christie strongly refuted his rival's claims today.
The facts are the facts, and that did not happen in New Jersey that day, and it hasn't happened since.
Today, I asked Trump to respond to that.
The other day, he said it like, well, he doesn't know, and now I guess he feels a little bit emboldened. He must be careful with what he says.
Why do you think that video hasn't surfaced? Why do you think that video...
Well, we'll see what surfaces.
ABC has dug into our archives. We can't find it.
Let's see what surfaces. You'll see.
Trump has cited this 2001 Washington Post article that said the hours after 9/11 in Jersey City, law enforcement authorities detained and questioned a number of people who were allegedly seen celebrating the attacks. One of the writers of the article, Serge Kovaleski, who now works for the New York Times, told the Daily Beast those claims were not true, saying, "We did a lot of shoe leather reporting in and around Jersey City and talked to a lot of residents and officials for the broader story. But I do not recall anyone saying there were thousands or even hundreds of people celebrating." Trump accused the reporter of backing down from the story. He even appeared to mock Kovaleski, who suffers from a chronic condition affecting his joints that limits motions in his arms.
I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
Trump later denied that he was mocking him.
I would never mock a person that has difficulty. I would never do that.
He posted this statement to Twitter saying, "I merely mimicked what I thought would be a flustered reporter trying to get out of a statement he made long ago. If Mr. Kovaleski is handicapped, I would not know because I do not know what he looks like." But one of Kovaleski's former colleagues says Trump does know him.
I have zero question that he knew Serge by his first name and that he was mocking him on that stage and that he has been lying the whole time.
Kovaleski himself says he's covered Trump for years, even tweeting these pictures of stories he did on Trump. And in an interview with the New York Times, Kovaleski said, "Donald and I were on a first-name basis for years," he said. "I've interviewed him in his office." Trump seems to have gotten good at offending, and his latest target, Muslims, who he has enraged with comments suggesting they be tracked in a national database.
And watch list is okay, and surveillance is okay.
Dear Donald Trump, my name is Marwa and I'm a Muslim.
Marwa Balkar, a Muslim woman from California, recently posted an open letter on Facebook firing back at Trump.
We are still Americans, and I feel like if he's running to be the leader of our nation, that he shouldn't be alienating us.
Balkar posted a photo of herself wearing a peace sign as an ID badge, following comments by Trump that he wouldn't rule out the idea of Muslims carrying special ID cards. Tonight, Trump offering to do what he knows how to do best, make money, in this case, for charity.
I won't do the debate unless they pay me $5 million, all of which money goes to the wounded warriors or go to vets. I would love to do it.
For Nightline, I'm Tom Yamas in New York.
I would love it.
Next, meet a former porn star playing another game. And a music icon saying hello to new records. Can she be beat? From performer to fantasy guru, meet the former porn star turned fantasy sports phenomena. She even has her own radio show. So how does she segue into the world of sports? Here's ABC's Nick Watt.
Mad Dog Sports Radio.
She is the public face of a movement.
First, I'm going to go with a fantasy question. You know, as crazy as this sounds, McFadden has been the strongest on this field right now for the Cowboys.
Breaking down barriers into a world once associated with beery, bearded men. Gentlemen, you can pretend you don't recognize her. Or pretend you're familiar only with her radio work. The truth, this 43-year-old recently switched adult fantasy for fantasy sports. Although nearly a year after she hung up her G-string, she's still one of the top-rated stars on Pornhub.
It was real. Every performer I had sex with, I wanted to have sex with.
Famously portraying the titular heroine of the 2008 hit, Who's Nailin' Palin?
Pull truck.
In the spirit of four emotions, I'm just no harm in me letting two of you in. I admit that I had so much fun shooting the Sarah Palin movie. I rode that wave from 2008 until 2014. I worked myself to the bone because I knew I could wring that dry.
But far more interestingly, from an industry notorious for chewing up and spitting out its stars.
People will tell you, once you've done porn, you're never going to get another job. You're never going to be accepted back into society. Kansas City also has some strong bats, so I don't know who I'd rather go up against yet. Than
Lisa Ann is a barely plausible success story on Sirius XM Radio.
Monday nights, my show is Lisa Ann Does Fantasy with my co-host Adam Ronis.
Along with the star of the show, adult film star Lisa Ann.
And then on Thursday mornings, I do a fun show called The Morning Men. And they're not changing the name, even though there's a woman involved.
In fact, women are now 1/3 of all fantasy football managers. Staggeringly, that's up from 20% just last year. Millions of women spending hundreds of millions of dollars a year and maybe listening to Lisa Ann for tips.
I think Des is definitely going to get out there. He's running straight. He's not really running well.
She is talking deeply.
Best choice of the day was Phillip Rivers.
That was a great pick.
Knowledgeably.
But they do spread the ball around so much in Philly.
Professionally about fantasy sports on nationwide radio.
And when you're in the radio studio, do you wear sweats, no makeup,
I don't.
unwashed hair?
Here's the thing. I had to be naked so much of my life that you have to understand how happy I am to get to wear clothes.
Nice clothes.
So I find that I want to be like wearing scarves and trying new things with my hair. I'm no longer being put in pink fishnet stockings. I mean, I am absolutely thrilled.
For those of you who, like me, don't know what fantasy sports really are, you choose players and score points and win money based on how well they do.
What sport is this?
We're going to do football.
Okay, so we're looking Tom Brady,
Frank
Gore, Emmanuel Sanders, Calvin Johnson, the Gronk, Adam Vinatieri, and the Denver Broncos.
You're just hearing it in your voice, just so much better. We got a lineup, people. We got a lineup.
Yeah, Lisa Ann's past career might have helped land the gig. She started with a radio show interviewing strippers before segueing into fantasy sports. But it's her smarts and sense of humour that keeps it going.
The depornification of my house is happening. Like, I'm just getting rid of stripper shoes. You know, I look at shoes and think...
Same thing happened with Babs.
Now, those two guys and all the sound engineers and everybody, I guarantee you they have looked you up online and they have seen you having sex.
I get it. I put it out there, and I really still want people to enjoy it because it's such a big part of my life.
But sport, it turns out, was her first passion in life. Growing up in small-town Pennsylvania, her folks split up when she was just little.
Our good times revolved around sports. My mom would take us to basketball games. We would watch football games with my dad. Sports were always where we came together and everything was great. So that kind of carried with me. And then I went out as a feature dancer on the road. And by 20 years old, I was traveling alone. And sports became something that kept me company. When I would come home from a gig, I could go and check who won tonight.
Her new career has her dividing time between New York and LA, where her apartment is filled with memorabilia.
This is the World Series played ball that I was telling you about that's signed by Derek Jeter.
It does look like a guy lives here.
It does look like a guy lives here now. This is Terrell Owens. Here's a Michael Jordan ball. And then in here is a trading card from my childhood sports collection.
Memorabilia from her different lives.
So on the way up to my bedroom, I thought the very last landing would be a good place to scare guys. And put all of my awards right here. This is your last chance to bail on this situation.
Yeah, okay.
It's mean, right?
Adult Nightclub Exotic Dancer Award winner.
Hall of Fame. This is a big award for ABN.
She is, at the moment, single.
Your past career, I mean, I imagine that would sort of entice guys to be with you, but, you know, does it put some people off in terms of wanting to actually marry and settle down?
Of course. People want to be with you, but not be with you.
I would have trouble just because I think, my God, you know, I'm sure I'm not doing this right. I'm sure, you know, that's the whole...
You're so right. That's the normal male thought process when it's starting to happen. It is very different for people to understand that sex in alone is never going to be the same as on camera. Because alone, you're able to be intimate. You're able to be close to each other. You don't have to open up so the camera can shoot in this angle right here.
And you don't have a dude like Steve with the sound boom.
And you know what else? The Steve, the sound boom guy, is eating a sandwich over there while you're doing your scene, because that's his one break. And I think doing porn made me appreciate intimacy a lot more than probably other people.
That was then. This is now.
So that was a good play, right?
That was a good play.
He threw the ball and he caught it.
Yep. And they're moving the chains. They're moving the chains. They're getting the ball down.
I'm Nick Watt for Nightline, on a couch being taught football.
But the quarterback stays on the whole time, right?
By a retired porn star.
And the kicker kind of...
Lisa Ann even taught our own Nick Watt how to make his own fantasy team.